Hello and welcome back. Today we are going to be looking at what I consider to be one of the best NECA figures of all time. Easily, I'd say they're top three within their alien line at least. And hell, I would even make an argument for all time. Now, before you start going, wait. How can a figure from one of the worst horror movies of all time be this good? Well, I'll get to that. So let me first do introductions and whatnot. First, this is the NECA Alien Covenant neomorph from the movie, right? And this is a figure that you're gonna have to excuse the condition it's in. You might notice a couple warps, a couple paint chips, and the broken bendy wire tail. I have absolutely gotten my dollar's worth out of this figure. This was back when NECA figures used to be $20. So I remember going to the Toys R Us and buying this. And when I got home, my God, it was so lovely. I love this figure. Genuinely one of my personal favorites. But first I've got to sort of drop lore bombs in because I figure since I'm talking about Alien Covenant, I might as well talk about the movie. So consider this a de facto movie review while we're at it too. So the neomorph is a sort of bizarre creature. It's a really cool idea. It is pretty much a parasitic organism that's a lot more contagious, considering that it's airborne and whatnot, and that it can get into any orifice and come out of various body parts depending on where the orifice is. So for those who always used to joke about ass bursters, well, it could have happened. So due to the residual effects of the black goo, this beautiful creature idea was sadly wasted on this god-forsaken movie, which I might as well just rip the Band-Aid off and talk about Alien Covenant as a movie. Alien Covenant as a movie is genuinely the worst fucking thing I've ever seen. Genuinely. Look, as an alien, like, I know it's going to be funny because I'm an Alien fanboy, right? But I have not seen a movie as insulting to the intellect as Alien Covenant was, and I have zero idea why there is anyone on this earth that finds that movie passable. And this is the one movie that I cannot find, that I just cannot fathom anybody else enjoying. The characters are all dumb slash cookie cutter and generic, poorly developed. The movie is a blabbering mess of ideas and wasted potential. I mean, look at the neomorphs and the protomorph. And various, lore retcons, because, how the hell does the engineer ship end up back on LV-28? What happened to the neomorphs? What the fuck happened to David? All these questions that were thankfully left unanswered and hopefully decanonized. Yeah, this was a movie I was very excited for when it came out. I remember when I heard about the movie in 2014, and little 10-year-old me was like, oh my God, they're gonna make another Alien movie, oh my God. I remember all the sleepless nights. I was practically counting down the days. And well, didn't get to see it in theaters, so I waited an extra couple months. Well, we were at Best Buy, the movie was on disc, and my parents at the time, they were like, all right, well, we'll drop $30 on the steelbook case. Worst $30 I've ever fucking spent. So the next day we're home, I'm eager, I've got a can of Sprite in my hand, I boot the movie up, and then by the end of the movie, all of the joy and happiness that you could ever find in a 12-year-old boy at the time was completely gone. This is when I had become a cynical, black-pilled doomer, and this movie is probably part of the reason why I am the way I am today. My autism just overloaded. I was so disgraced. I walked out of the room that I watched the movie in. I approached my parents, my jaw still on the floor, after the obscene absurdity of garbage I had just witnessed, and I profusely apologized. I then went back into the room and moved on with my day. So, well, you might be asking, well, that was maybe when you were just a little kid. Maybe you didn't understand its excellence and whatnot. No. No, 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 no. Various clips have come about throughout the years. I've practically rewatched the movie on several occasions, and each time nothing changed. I was still the same. I still had the same feeling and resentment. So 2017, it's 2025. 8 years later, anything changed? Nope. Except the fact that Neca made pretty bomb merchandise, I will say, for this movie. Like, that shit was absolutely goated. The fact that they took something that looked like shit on the screen and they made it into a fucking 10 out of 10 art piece is kind of sad. It's actually kind of sad how a toy company completely bitches a multi-million-dollar movie in terms of special effects. So yes, the special effects in that movie were garbage. I don't care what anyone says. CGI is not a fucking band-aid for everything. It is incredibly hard to do right. The only movies I ever remember doing CGI so fucking well you couldn't tell was the Transformer movies, and that was it. The first 3 Transformer movies. Everything else, it's just shit or passable. And Alien Covenant falls into the category of shit. And what else? What else? Oh yeah, I guess I want to talk about this too. The homoerotic tones that Ridley Scott sets between the androids is completely fucking stupid. I can't believe there is a scene in movies, there's a fucking scene that was filmed and approved by other people and was taken seriously. This is the one where David is talking to the other android, I forget the name, no doubt wasting Michael Fassbender's talent. And he has him say, you finger, I blow. They're learning to play the flute. And you figure with the statement I had just said, you finger, I blow, that they were talking about a different flute entirely. You could have swore they were talking about a certain flesh flute, and a certain I'll just say chocolate starfish. So yeah, that scene still is stuck in my head. A complete fucking waste, a complete travesty, one of the worst twist endings I've ever seen. It's not one of those like twists that just doesn't. I mean, it doesn't make any sense and it comes out of nowhere, which is the main problem. Is that it's not a twist. It's not a good twist because you don't expect it coming. It's a bad twist because there's no way in hell it could happen. That's why. It's like the amount of fucking loops and logic that was ignored with the twist ending revealing that, oh no, it wasn't the good android, it was the bad android, it was David, or whatever his name was. It was really bad, really, really bad. So before I keep digging up more emotional trauma from my youthful years, I guess we'll just get right into this absolute masterpiece of a figure. So starting off, we'll look at the alternate head here. This is the neomorph's neutral state with its butthole sphincter mouth. Very, very odd choice of design, but okay. I do appreciate the sunken in eyes and the overall fleshy tone. It distinguishes it from the regular xenomorphs. You got the arrow point tipped head, very fleshy, organic. You got like eardrums there, really good. Now I'm not gonna put this on the figure like I usually do because, well, it's stiff as hell, and to be honest, I just don't want to put the fucking butthole face on it. I think it's gross and ugly looking, but not in a good way. I mean, if I wanted to look at fucking buttholes, you know how much porn is on the internet? Like, fucking hell. I know the aliens were designed with sexual themes and whatnot, like, integrated in them, but, like, this one just looks goofy, to be honest. So, then moving on, I will admit this accessory is a bit half-baked and underdeveloped. This is a baby neomorph. I do believe this was the throat burster, the one that came out of, what was the gay Irish dude's name in the movie. I don't remember. I forget all the characters' names. It was the boyfriend of Negan's character from Walking Dead. So we got this paint that's just kind of, red paint that's just kind of haphazardly thrown about. I will say this accessory is pretty lame. The glued on spikes, dude, they didn't bother to change it a different color to look like it's, part of the neomorph there. The long tail, which is on a swivel. The various bulbous stuff. I will say it's a cool fetus. I mean, it's pretty much supposed to be that thing right there. So, I don't know, it's cool fetus imagery, I guess. Pretty decent for articulation. Its head swivels, so you could turn it. Oh, you can even see the ribs. That's kind of cool. Bulbous belly, the hind legs. The legs are warped to hell. They were like that. They've always been like this, so the legs, they just go forward and back, and the tail for some reason swivels. Now, moving on to the main reason why you're going to buy this, the neomorph itself. And oh my god, the texture work on this is beautiful. The paint is well done. You can see the shades of pink. It's not too overdone, and it doesn't feel haphazardly. Now, mind you, I have the roaring, protruding mouth out, because these things are natural cannibals. Again, I will say I do like the design. Even though it is significantly smaller than your average xenomorph, because again, this thing is human size. Here, wait, do I have a? Okay, here. I got a reference here. Hold up. So for reference, this is the height of an average human, at least in Neca scale. So again, this thing doesn't dwarf people, and that's okay. These aren't meant to be like, heavy and sheer unstoppable monsters like the xenomorphs are. These are mostly supposed to be very savage and barbarian creatures that can reproduce a lot quickly and infect a lot more people, which I liked. I thought that was a really cool idea. The neomorphs could have even led their whole ass trilogy, if I'm gonna be honest. Like, there was so much potential with these monsters, and it was fucking wasted on this fucking movie. You know what? Get that fucking ass banned. Get that shit banned. Get the fuck out of here. Moving on, we have, so yeah, it's pretty much the same sculpt as the other head, except the mouth is protruding outwards, kind of like certain primates, I think. Shit, what was the animal that's mouth comes out like this? I don't remember, but it's really well done. The fuck wrong with you? Sorry, my PC just activated it when it shouldn't have. This really great sculpted chest piece. Oh my god, it's fucking beautiful. All the wrinkles and stretch marks and ribs, the sunken in ribs. Oh, I'm gonna fucking nut right here, dude. Like there's about to be some turbulence in my pants. That's just how fucking beautiful this shit is. This is back when Neca had it in the fucking bag. Like, this shit is fucking glorious. Oh, and then we got the shoulder blades too. The natural hunch that doesn't really affect it too much. The back spikes, it's a little warped. They're a little warped because I've had this thing for ages. So, really well done. Oh, and I even like the paint too. So in the movie, it pretty much just looks like a fucking cum monster. It looks like somebody left their cum out to dry and it solidified into a bulbous humanoid mass. Here, they made it look like an actually cool monster, dude. Like, I already have a predisposition towards skinny, lanky, pale skin monsters, and when I love that design, dude. It's just so cool. With the long arms, the fingernails, the faceless face, dude. I love it. I think that design has so much aura. Like, the xenomorphs already had it. I still think the xenomorphs design is better, obviously, especially the 2010 AVP game xenomorph. That shit is genuine kino, right? This is just fucking great, dude. Like, how the fuck does Neca make a figure look better than the shit that they put on screen is beyond me. So beyond me, dude. They removed all the glossiness. They removed all that garbage CGI, and look what we got. We got a cool, this looks like a practical suit. I'm not gonna lie, this looks like a practical suit. This looks better than what they used in the movie. Oh my god, and even the flesh wrinkles and Oh shit, excuse me, that meat sauce doesn't sit well. You know, the stretch marks and whatnot. Oh my god, it's fucking good. You know, and then we got the forearms here, really well done in the hands. The hands are differently sculpted because this thumb's a bit skinnier, while this thumb's a bit more arched, you know, uh, and whatnot, right? But really cool. You got these really, really cool long hands. They almost look like primate hands, if I'm going to be honest, just much more lengthy and long. Got the nails there too. Really well done. I love the fucking look of this. Then we go down to the abdomen again. More fucking beautiful sculpting in the belly there, dude. It looks like a fucking malnourished, like, monster and shit. I love it. Then the spikes, which relax and then they come out just randomly in the back here above the tail. You know, we got the hip bones. Now, yeah, the joints here are not detailed, but you know what? Who gives a fuck? This thing was $25 at the time. I don't care. Everything else is sculpted and detailed to perfection here. Again, the camera does not do it justice how detailed this figure really is. This thing is a fucking beauty to touch. You know, more wrinkles and musculature. Then we go down here to the hind legs and whatnot, and then it settles out into like more of a weathered gray. But I don't know, that could just be the paint wearing off on my end maybe, or I don't remember. But it doesn't look bad though. It does look kind of cool. It almost looks like it's dirty, you know, like its feet have been dirty walking around in the dirt all day. Then moving on to the tail, we got, oh shit, I gotta be careful lest I rip it off. You know, we just got a regular skinny fleshy tail with a tiny little spike on it. All right, for articulation, the base of the neck is sort of like a pin joint pretty much. It swivels and it rocks up and, oh, all the way down. Holy shit. But due to the way it's sculpted, you're naturally going to have it in this position here. But you can still have it looking down like this and it'll look fine and normal. So arms, don't let the, you know, sort of pre-sculpted arm thing fool you. They don't go all the way up, which is fine because you can just swivel them around like this and it goes, you know. It accomplishes what it needs to. And besides, the neomorph isn't a creature that, I mean, I'm sure this figure would have been better with shoulder art, like butterfly joints, but it would have interfered with the sculpt here, and the articulation is still pretty good. You can still get into some really good poses, even if you can't like fully put them all the way up. It's a scrawny monster. You're not gonna have them like, you know, uppercutting people and shit. You're gonna be having them in like looming, menacing poses, or, you know, crouched, ready to pounce poses. A single bended elbow, but it goes pretty far up. I mean, usually they have double jointed elbows, but this one is fine. This one works. A swivel at the elbow there, and then a swivel at the forearm. Beautiful hinge swivel at the wrist. Works pretty well. Here's a really great ball jointed abdomen here. So you do have to rock it back and forth again to like go all the way up here. So you could pretty much have them on all fours in this position, or just screaming to the heavens here. You know, you could have it just like this, where the sculpt doesn't, where their articulation doesn't break up the sculpt much, and it's more of in a sitting, you know, standing stance, or you could have it in a crunched over leaning stance. There is a bit of rock side to side, not very much noticeable, but there is swivel as well. Oh shit, no. There we go. Damn, 10% power mode. Let's speed blitz this. The legs are on these pin joints as well. So, or not pin joints, I forget. Pinball joints. So they don't go out very well. No, they can go out very far, just depending where you have it moved. So it's a certain position, which I think is fine for this figure. It makes sense. It's not like the Night Cougar Xenomorph where you couldn't get them to move for shit. So at least these go back and forward enough, and they can go out certainly well and evenly. There's a swivel at the thighs, which is pretty good too. Helps with the articulation. What's this? Oh, is that what I think it is? Yep, it's a double bending knee. Let's go. And a swivel hinge at the foot here. You know, so it swivels, pivots, whatnot. It goes all the way up and down. Bend at the toenail, or bend at the toes. And then a bendy wire tail that it does feel flimsy though, so even though I did list a couple of flaws with this, I still think this is easily one of NECA's best work. This figure just feels beautiful to touch. You know, I mean, yeah, you might not be able to stand it up completely, you know, without the help of a base, but it's typical for like hind-legged monster figures. I still think it should have came with a stand maybe, but like the figure itself is of a really great quality, you know. So although oh shit, I probably should just for transparency's sake pitch it up against a regular xenomorph. Hold up, first let me get it to stand. Shit. There we go. I should, just for transparency's sake, stand it against a xenomorph. Oh, come on. Work with me, bitch. Work with me. Here we go. Here we go. Alright, for comparison, here is the protomorph, or xenomorph, from Alien Covenant. Whatever the fuck Ridley Scott likes to call it. And yeah, it's pretty fucking big, but that's another review for later, and most other xenomorphs are of the same size too. Shit. Oh well, I'm not doxing myself. It's what you see is what you get. So still, but yes, with all that said, I love this figure. It's easily one of my favorite figures of all time. Easily top 5 NECA figures I have. Top 3, maybe even. So now for procuring it, I don't know. Might be a pain in the ass because old NECA stuff tends to be expensive. But if you found this, I'd say it's worth tracking down. Hell, maybe you can get a loose version of it for cheap. Alright, with that said, thank you all for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.